Join us now to talk chips. Chris Caso, Wolfe Research senior analyst. What's a layman to do, Chris? Trying to wade our way, but it's so difficult to analyze all these things. Let's start with TSMC. Those are great numbers. These aren't necessarily for AI chips. They're for older type chips, but great results.
Well, TSMC produces for everyone. They're sort of the producer of record for the industry right now. But what's really interesting in the results, and they're guiding revenue up about 25% next year. About 60% of that growth is coming from AI. And after the AI revenue tripling in 24, they expect to double again this year, which is really a good summary of what's going on in chips right now, which is AI is just driving the bus right now. That's where the growth is. And everything else is just kind of middling right now. And it's been really interesting because we're sort of in the third year and outside of AI, sort of in a bit of a downturn in the semiconductor industry, given the inventory that was built up during the pandemic. And by now, you would think that the rest of the business, PCs, handsets, traditional servers, other stuff would be stronger, but it's just not. And, we lowered numbers on a couple of companies, going into earnings earlier this week. And it's just been really interesting that everything outside of AI is just kind of okay. And AI is really driving everything.
I guess I was also thinking about the latest salvo and the back and forth between China and the United States involves these mature node chip makers that we are subsidizing. Is the U.S. subsidizing those and harming Chinese companies, or are they just looking for things, given that, we've retaliated? Are they retaliating against some of the things we're talking about with China?
Yeah, I think that's some retaliation. And, China's trying to find ways to retaliate where they can. And I'll say that the U.S. export controls on China have been pretty effective, that, China really cannot access leading edge manufacturing technology. They can't access leading edge AI technology. The NVIDIA chips, the top end NVIDIA chips aren't accessible within China. And I think China's trying to strike back wherever they can.
The comments from Jensen Huang. He was excited about quantum, and then he kind of revised that it's 20 years away or 15 to 30 years away for actual application. So AI is even closer, still in the maybe somewhat the payoff is in the future, but 15 to 30 years for quantum. We got all excited about that this week, Chris.
Yeah, it's a very promising technology. It's not ready for mass market right now. NVIDIA is actually holding an event with some quantum companies coming up, and I think Jensen has his reputation very well earned of being kind of on the forefront of this stuff, and I think he wants to be involved. But the other side of that is in the near term, even kind of 2-5 years, and that what Jensen is doing with accelerators in AI, and really it goes even broader than that. As a result of the slowing of Moore's law, the fact that CPUs don't drive the same performance as they did, that's the story in semis right now.
Okay, as I said, it's kind of inscrutable. So what are your favorite stocks right now, Chris?
Yeah, we like NVIDIA, and some of the concern, the reason why the stock has kind of flattened out here is some concerns about the new product cycle, Blackwell, how quickly it ramps. Based on what we saw in the supply chain, we're keeping expectations kind of in check here for the first half of the year as they do that transition. We expect a really good second half of the year as more capacity comes into play. And our favorite name right now is actually Micron, the memory producer, which is a tangential exposure to AI because there's a certain flavor of memory, HBM, that goes into AI. Micron just getting into that market. And what the reason why Micron stock is where it is because, again, that cyclical part that's exposed to handsets, PCs, traditional server has been weak. They've been burning inventory on it. And our thesis on that one is as the cyclical part stabilizes and then starts to improve as the inventory burns off, then you start to get you start to get the good news from AI coming into the numbers.